Hey everybody, welcome to Papa's Custom Cars. Sitting beside the Nova motor. I want to go through five things that, or should say five noises that your car makes that you shouldn't ignore, because if you do, it could end up costing you a lot. And just a few little things will help you discover the issue and fix it. So let's get to it. So the next sound that you'll encounter is grinding noises, and grinding noises are generally caused by your brakes. A few things to watch for. You'll hear screeching noises and that kind of thing, and that's an indicator that there's an issue with your brakes. If you ignore it too long, they'll go down to metal on metal. Here's an example of a pad that's got material still on it, and you'll notice that it has this little metal tab on it. Well, when you hear that screeching noise all of a sudden, that's generally what it is, and it's warning you that your brake pads are going out. And if you continue to drive, this is steel back here. This steel will go against those rotors and destroy them. So one of the things you want to pay close attention to. You can also look in here in a lot of these cars and you can see the rotor itself and you can see grooves in it. And if you see those grooves in it, that's an indicator that you've got an issue with your brakes. One of those things that is really, really important. Pay attention to that when you're driving down the road and all of a sudden your car doesn't want to stop right, or it doesn't feel the same as it did before. Odds are your brakes are wearing out, and you want to pay real close attention to that. And that way you don't end up with a situation that goes from, a $100, $200 repair to, $400 or $500. So definitely that's noise number two. The engine knocking. Possible causes for that could be low oil. An engine can knock can occur when lubrication is low. Prime example, we had an Expedition. It was down to like a half a quart of oil. It made all kinds of noise. The minute we put oil back in it, it was fine. And believe you me, we put another 100,000 miles on that truck. So knocking can indicate low oil pressure or low oil. It can also mean detonation, meaning that you've got the wrong type of fuel in your car. If your car runs on premium and you're putting regular in it, you're going to get it sounds like a pinging kind of noise. That's detonation on your engine. That's also not a good thing. The last thing that could cause that could be internal wear in the engine. The engine itself, like say you ran it low on oil for a very long time, parts will wear out. You got metal on metal in here, so you can destroy an engine. So internal parts can also cause that knock. If it continues to go on, for example, I had a 64 Ford, I drove it, it was knocking, I didn't know what it was, and the next thing I knew, I had a piece of the engine come out of the side of the motor. Not something you want to see, so definitely one you want to pay attention to is that engine knock. So the third noise that you want to pay attention to is a hissing noise under your engine compartment, or you can hear it from the passenger compartment, or the driver's compartment, I should say. The possible causes for that are a couple of different things. An example is in this 80s car, there is a whole bunch of vacuum lines that run vacuum, that run the heater controls and that kind of stuff are all run on vacuum. And if one of those lines comes loose, you'll hear a slight hissing sound where it sounds like something's drawing air into anything, but it'll sound like a little bit of a hissing noise. The other thing it can be is your cooling system. A small pinhole in your hoses or something like that, or a leaking radiator can cause a hissing noise. Overheating, definitely a hissing noise. You'll hear this radiator cap, it has a relief in it, and the minute it gets too hot, it's going to let that pressure go, and you're going to hear that noise. One of the things you got to be real careful of is, the vacuum leak will generally cause rough engine idle, so it'll kind of be like stumbly and that type of thing, not have the power it usually has. That's a good indicator that there's a possible vacuum leak. Engine performance is one of the quickest ways to figure it out, but you'll hear you open your hood and you just listen and you can hear it. With an with the excuse me, with the cooling system, you pay attention to your heat gauge, and if you hear a hissing noise and you're watching that heat gauge climb, odds are you definitely are overheating. And overheating is a bad thing for a lot of the modern cars anyway, because you've got aluminum cylinder heads and steel, and when those things get hot, they warp, and that could cause you a major engine catastrophe, cost you thousands of dollars to fix it. So definitely a couple of things that you want to pay attention to when it comes to that. So remember, vacuum hoses, radiator hoses, just listen and try to figure out where it's coming from. But it's one of those things you want to pay real close attention to. Number 4 on our list of noises is whirring transmission. If you go back to the episode where I was doing the transmission pan in the Chrysler 200, I don't know if it's on the video or not, but when I refilled it, it takes about 4.5 quarts, and I only had 4. So when I started it up and went to move it, the transmission makes a whirring sound. And that whirring sound is because that transmission was low on fluid. So the minute I added the fluid, I didn't have that problem anymore. All you do is you stand near the engine bay and you listen in the area of the transmission, front wheel drive, it's going to be over in here somewhere, but you just listen and you can hear things struggling to work, and that's what causes that whirring noise. So definitely want to pay attention to that transmission fluid. Check it on a regular basis if you can. If you can't, take it in, have it serviced, make sure that it's taken care of well. Noise number 5, your engine's ticking. Sounds like a really loud clock. This could be due to a few factors. One is valve train wear, meaning that your lifters are running little rods and all kinds of stuff, and that ticking can be an indicator of wearing out parts. The second thing it could be is low oil pressure. I know that a lot of the newer cars, like my Chrysler 300, when it's time for an oil change, she starts ticking like crazy. So that's another indicator that you need to follow up and make sure that your oil is okay. It's simple enough to pull out the dipstick and check it. Make sure that you have adequate oil in your car, and that way you don't have to worry about not having an issue. If you pull the dipstick and it's still making that ticking noise, probably an indicator that you need to change the oil or that there's something majorly wrong. So you want to definitely get that checked out. You might see your oil light blinking when you first started up, and a little bit of ticking, and then it kind of goes away. You still want to check the oil, make sure that it's full. If it is, it's an indicator that down the road something is going to probably give up, but definitely something you want to check on. So my final advice to you is pay attention to the sound that your car makes. That's really the key to all of this. Every single one of those 5 things has an indicator that says something's wrong. It's up to you to figure out what it is, either by listening, coming out, checking your oil, checking your transmission fluid, listening for hissing sounds, and any of those things, the grinding, all of it are symptoms of something that's going to happen or is happening. So you really want to pay attention to what your car's telling you or your vehicle's telling you in general. Investigate those noises quickly. That way you can isolate where it's coming from. If you don't know, if you hear, I hear it coming from right over here, but you don't know what that is, ask someone for help. Google it, YouTube it, and so that's why I'm here, is to help you out with that kind of stuff. An early diagnosis of issues like this can save you a bunch of money down the road. And that's really what it's all about. We can't all afford to spend a bunch of money on replacing our engine because we just didn't pay attention to what it was telling us. I can't tell you how many times I've driven down a road behind a car that is smoking humongous clouds of smoke coming out of the back, and they just keep driving. And the next thing you know, down the road, they're broke down. So listen to those sounds and figure out what it is early. Don't ignore them. So I'm going to be doing a lot of DIY stuff every week, so definitely subscribe to Papa's Custom Cars. so that you can pick up on these little things. I've got a lot of them that I've set up for you to help you with little repairs here and there that you can do on your own car. Save you money down the road. You know, the noises that your car makes will save you a ton of money down the road. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in next week's video.